Hey everyone, it's CB Geisinger. I'm here to talk to you today about something very serious and concerning and important to me. I started listening to a lot of podcasts about true crime and the impact that it has on families and unsolved cases, and it really hit me that there's so many people out there that are lost and forgotten, and um, one in particular actually has a connection to my family. Doreen Marfeo, um, Marfeo, forgive me if I mispronounce, um, was a friend of my mom's growing up in high school. They played a lot of tennis together, and she generally was very quiet but very kind. Um, Shortly after they graduated, my mom got married. She was her maid of honor, and as friends do, their lives kind of went separate ways, and she ended up, getting married to somebody. My mom didn't really know him, and that was kind of the end of their story together. Fast forward to 1991, we were going to a restaurant in Cranston. It was called China Pearl, and there was a missing persons poster on the outside of the window. One I'd never seen. I've never seen a missing person poster. And my mom looks at it and she goes, "That's my friend Doreen." And I thought that was a little insane and incredible that we would even know anybody that was missing. And I had never heard of this woman before, obviously. She was out of our lives a long time before any of this happened. But she ended up appearing a year or two later on Unsolved Mysteries. So Doreen married Stephen Marfeo in 1983, and they moved into a house on Hartford Ave in Johnston, and they set up a nice little life there. But 5-6 years later, she was working at RISD, very talented, very successful, and her husband started believing that she was having an affair. He accused her of cheating on her with a coworker and went so far as to hire a private eye to follow her around. And this behavior, I don't think that's normal at all, to follow your wife around. I think it's a little stalkerish, a little obsessive, and I think it got out of hand. And then March 29th, 1990, he said he came home. It was 4 p.m. and she wasn't there. Everything seemed to be in place. There wasn't anything missing. He called the police and said, "Hey, my wife's missing. It's very weird." But she didn't take anything, and her car was sitting in the driveway. It was all very odd. So the police, look into it, and there's no sign of struggle. So what could have happened? Then sometime later, they end up getting a typewritten letter delivered to the police station in Johnston, which stated that Doreen had been strangled and then her body had been dumped in a pond. They said that she was in the reeds of a pond. And they described it so nonchalant. It was almost, hey, this is, kind of like how I drove down the road and this is where I put her, and, wasn't addressed from anybody. And then a second letter came in, and the second letter stated that she had been cheating on him, that, it had been involving her coworkers. It was very bitter. And I mean, anybody in their right minds would obviously assume this is her husband. Who on earth would be so upset about her cheating on him? Who would have motive? They ended up linking his typewriter. It was actually at his mother's house, her typewriter, to the second letter where it had stated what a terrible person she was and how she, was doing things at work with coworkers. And that was the end of that story. Nothing ever happened. They couldn't prove that he did it. They couldn't find her body, and the case went cold. So, a year later, he ends up getting a girlfriend, and that relationship is not good. It's not perfect. It's not. I can only imagine it's just like Doreen's. I'm sure it had an essence of control, and um, I think she realized it sooner than he did, and she got out. So they broke up, and his now ex-girlfriend starts dating somebody else, and being an unstable man, he went over to her home and found them in the car, and he shot and killed her, and then shot her boyfriend. The boyfriend got out of the car, managed to survive, which is amazing, and he fled. Stephen Marfeo fled to Connecticut, and they found his car parked on the side of the road, and he had killed himself. So now the only person who really could tell you anything more about this missing person is gone. Her mother has passed away. Her mother looked for her daughter until she was gone. And I don't think anyone has been looking for her since then. Now, this is March 29th, 1990. We are January 22nd, 2024. It's nearly 34 years of her sitting somewhere, just bones, I'm assuming at this point. She has forgotten. And it's terribly sad. And without even knowing this person, I desperately want to do something to help find her. And I spoke to a detective today at Johnston Police, and they said, her file isn't even in the computer system. It's that old. And it's probably sitting in a box and in the closet with all the other, cold cases that they have. And they just don't have the funds to employ people to do that. And it's hard enough. And I told him I appreciate everything that they do, because while there are cracks in the system, and maybe there's not so many good people on the police force at all times, there are a lot of people that are out there that are just trying to do their job and do well and protect people and take care of their neighborhoods. And this officer, who was only a kid at the time, when this happened, felt terrible that there wasn't more that he could do. And I feel like there's something we can always do. I think we all have a responsibility to try to take care of one another, and I want there to be a peace for Doreen. I would love to give her mother peace, even though her mother is gone. I think she'll be able to rest easy knowing that her daughter has been found and the truth has come out and she has justice. And so I am eager to get any information that I can, because without any new information, we cannot get this case going. We cannot take it out of a cold case status. We cannot do anything to fix the situation. As the typewritten letter had said, she was put into a pond in Providence. Maybe if we could go out there and dive and search. They said that they had gone out there and that the water was really murky. I don't know if they ever went out there again. I know it can be difficult, but this is also 34 years ago. I'm sure we have some sort of instrumentation nowadays that people can go and look further into the water. They can detect things. I'm sure fishermen probably have equipment that could do that. But I would just like her to find peace, and I hope that there are others that are willing to help with this. So if you are interested, please send me an email to geisingerpublishing@gmail.com, GIESINGER publishing@gmail.com. And I'd love to talk with you and see if we can do something to bring peace to her and her family. Thanks.